Instagram. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning to you. It's a little bit after 8. It's 8:02 here on the East Coast in sunny, beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina. Good morning to you, Facebook. Good morning, X. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, LinkedIn. My name is Ren Jones. I'm a certified personal trainer, certified corrective exercise specialist, certified level 1 and level 2 nutrition coach through Precision Nutrition. Shout out to PN. Shout out to Dr. 𝗿𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁. I'm also certified as a women's coaching specialist through Girls Gone Strong, and I've got 3 separate menopause-related certifications. One certification through MedFit, Dr. Carla D, who led that MedFit course for menopause, health, and fitness. Another certification from the lovely ladies at Girls Gone Strong. Shout out to Molly Galbraith. I actually appear in that certification. So if you do the Girls Gone Strong menopause certification, I'm the only dude that pops up in there talking. And I've also been through the Dr. 𝗿𝗵 ci𝗄𝗶 Menopause 2.0 course. I did all that on the backs of reading 𝗿𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗵 by 𝗿𝗶𝗴𝗵, who's a friend of mine now, reading Next Level from 𝗿𝗵 ci𝗄𝗶, and reading the Menopause Manifesto by Dr. Jen Gunter, who's a genius. But that's enough about me. I've got a topic for you today. We got to get into it because one of the things that I run into with my clientele, and I only work with women as a population. I've been an online coach for the last 10 years. One of the things that we run into, particularly in midlife, is sort of the confusion about what works now. Like what even gets results at this point, because a lot of the women that I get the privilege to coach will come to me in a state of confusion at this point in their lives because, like, a lot of the stuff that you've been doing, it just doesn't seem to do anything. It's almost like when the batteries go dead in your remote control and you're just pushing 22. You want to get to channel 22 and it only pushes 2 one time. That's so frustrating. I hate that. But a lot of what I hear is, hey, what I've been doing isn't working. I don't know exactly what to do now. Nobody's giving this information. So I've got your back. I'm here with some simplified information for you. I want to talk today about what's the most sort of beneficial nutritional methods to use when you're in a situation in your life where estrogen and progesterone start to fluctuate or taper off through postmenopause. How can I get great results, and how can I pair my nutrition with my exercise so that I don't feel like I'm spinning my wheels all the time? I don't want you to be spinning your wheels all the time. So let's talk about it. Before I get into that, I've got to pay the bills really quickly. This is all I do for a living, not talk on the internet, but I'm a trainer. I should have phrased that better. But I'm currently enrolling no more than 5 midlife women who want to build their healthiest body, feel like they're at home in that body again, and do that without calorie counting, macronutrient counting, no weighing or measuring food. It's my signature 15-week program for midlife women. It's called the Women's Liberation Movement. If that sounds interesting to you, DM me the word live. We'll have a quick chat, see if it might be a good fit. Let's get into the information. So the first thing that I want to talk about is there's sort of 3 things that I want to discuss here today that are going to help you sort of shift your nutrition a little bit to get you better results. Number 1 is we've got to talk about protein, right? It starts there. And that's right. Ashley, how do you find me every morning? Ashley's here to sing my praises. I did not pay her yet. But Level Up Strength down here, she's a friend of mine. We went through some of the same certification processes together. I know her in the various groups that we exist in together. Go follow Ashley. Level Up Strength. She's right down here with the check mark. She's awesome and funny, and she's a songstress, and she made a great. I'll circle back around to Ashley because I can get distracted when she's around. But let's talk about protein. Now, why do we talk about protein? And you've probably seen 100 bazillion gajillion people tell women need protein. Got to get your protein, ladies. It's all about protein. I'm not so specifically strict about singing that song all the time because I think it gets distracting. But I want you to understand the scientific basis for why we talk about protein for women in midlife, also for women who are younger than midlife, as my friend Ashley here pointed out to me, but may have had a medically induced menopause. So ladies, if you're in your 30s and you had a full hysterectomy and you've had your ovaries removed, You got thrown into the menopause spectrum instead of being able to gradually grow into the menopause spectrum. But we have to understand that estrogen, estradiol specifically, as it's fluctuating, as it's waning, as it's tapering off, estrogen is complicit in making sure that your body can absorb protein from the food you eat. But estrogen is also important, specifically estradiol, is also important in your ability to maintain the muscle that you have. For every human on the planet, men, women, it doesn't matter. After 30, you start to slowly lose the muscle that's on your body. It's age-related muscle loss. It's called sarcopenia, right? When we get into the perimenopausal phase, really the first part of the menopause transition, sarcopenia accelerates. It starts going through the loop. A lot of the things and symptoms that women talk about and associate with menopause, which is more than just one thing, one stage, but a lot of the things that you talk about, those things begin to really accelerate in the perimenopausal phase, the transition period. Loss of muscle is one of them, and the body's reduced ability to absorb protein is another. And if we know that muscle is important because it protects you from cardiovascular disease, it helps you have a better insulin response, it helps you move through space in life. If we know that muscle is the new 401k, then we've got to preserve it. And one of the things that we don't really sort of understand and we don't talk about is how important protein is for women in this stage of life. You've got to understand the recommended daily allowance of protein, particularly in the U.S. I don't know how Canada does it. Shout out to Canada. The recommended daily allowance for protein in the United States is based on sedentary males, sitting men, right? That's what the RDA says. So when we suggest a gram per pound of body weight of protein for midlife women, women going through the menopausal phase, particularly active, it's a key word here, active menopausal women. Somebody freaks out, oh, that's way too much, because the recommended daily allowance is based on people who sit on their ass and have testicles. If you're a person who sits on your ass and has testicles, follow it complicitly. What we're talking about is specific research for women in this stage of life who specifically get off their ass and exercise hard. These ladies are going to get it. And the recommended daily allowance ain't going to get it for you. Because again, you're hard charging, badass, pushing weight around the gym, getting up, doing multiple things during the course of the day. You're also in a position where muscle wants to naturally leave your body. No bueno, we're not doing that. Also in a position where you're having a more difficult time biologically absorbing protein from the foods you eat. And we don't need no damn men's recommended daily allowance for dudes that sit on their ass all day. We need a women-specific recommendation for women who are active, their body's already struggling to maintain muscle, and their body's already having a more difficult time absorbing protein. So we recommend, in this case, through women-led research, we recommend a gram per pound of body weight, and that's really at the low end, ladies. That's the first thing that we've really got to realize. Now, it doesn't have to be animal-based. I know the vegans are out there clutching their pearls, right? No, it doesn't have to be animal-based protein. It's easier to do it with animal-based protein. You have to be a little bit more thoughtful if you're going to do it through plant-based protein, but it's not something that can't be done, not at all. So also don't let anybody tell you, well, if you're going to be a vegan or if you're going to live plant-based, you can't get enough protein. That's not the truth. It's a little harder. You have to be a little bit more thoughtful, but it can be done. Hey, I'm 5'7". People tell me all the time I can't get the glasses from the top cabinet. I just get out my step stool. I'm solving life problems. So that's something that we have to consider first. So first, I want to talk to you about the protein. So getting protein throughout the day is going to be crucial for getting results from that hard charging strength training workout that you're doing. And you kind of can't get around it because again, at this point, biologically, your body's it's a little bit more of a challenge to maintain your muscle. It's a little bit more of a challenge to produce more muscle. And And both of those things in context are important to you. So that's the first thing. You may need to up your daily protein intake just a little bit. Instagram, I only been looking at you the whole time. Let me make some eye contact with Facebook. Facebook, how you doing? You want to maintain that muscle, and it may require you consuming more protein spread throughout the day than what you're used to. And what we have to understand here is from a coaching perspective, I know how these things go, because someone will come to me and say, nothing that I'm doing is working, right? I just can't figure out the stuff that I used to do doesn't work. And I'll say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the opposite of that, and then say, no, because that's not what I used to do. I just don't feel comfortable doing the opposite of that. I just don't think it's going to work. Okay, well, you can go back to doing the things that you used to do that you already know don't work. I don't have a third option for you, right? So I understand that from a woman's perspective, as it relates to the fitness, wellness, diet industry, man, you ladies have been beat over the head with propaganda since the time you were 5 years old. And I wish I could go back and undo that, change it for you. It sucks, because this industry can be very predatory, particularly towards women. Like, it sort of initiates a lot of avoidance goals for women instead of approach goals. For men, it's all about the approach. Get strong, feel confident, tackle the boardroom, right? Those approach goals for men is the messaging that we get from the industry. For women, it's avoidance goals. Don't gain weight, don't get wrinkled, don't be looked over. So it's really pervasive. I want to help you sort of unwind that language so that you can do things that actually benefit you instead of making you susceptible to the next sales pitch. Let's talk about nutrient timing, because that's something else that I mentioned in the context of the post that I did for people who may want to get the replay. We've got to take our minds away from fasted training, right? And I know that probably through your 20s or 30s, and maybe even now, it seemed like a great idea, right? Because we've come through the lens of eat less, move more, right? The 80s and 90s almost specifically and exclusively were begging you to eat as little as possible and exercise as much as you can. Just beat the dog crap out of your body and don't feed it anything. You don't deserve it. You didn't work out long enough. And the sort of initiation of fasted training protocol, which is primarily comes from bodybuilding world, but sort of the initiation, and I don't mean fasting for medical reasons, right? That's not what I'm talking about. Totally different subject. But the initiation of fasted protocol for the purposes of changing your body has been one of the greatest errors that we've perpetrated in the industry, because it just sort of feeds into that 1980s, 1990s, eat less, move more. And you think, well, nobody could eat less than fasting. There's no less than not eating. That's beautiful. I'll fast and then I'll go and do my workout and I'll push a lot of, the 𝗿𝗶 chic era, right? I'll fast and I'll do my workout and it'll be amazing. And all the research has come out about, fat oxidation and autophagy and all these $100 words. It'll work well for me. Again, we're looking at research that's kind of based on either obese, sedentary women or men or mice, right? Of mice and men, or mice. And what we know about women in midlife is that we've got a little bit more of a delicate stress response balance, right? Because estrogen, estradiol specifically, promotes a healthier stress response, stress resiliency, your ability to come back from mentally, physically stressful things. Well, as estrogen starts to shift in midlife and then starts to wane through on the other side of the menopause transition, post-menopause, you don't have quite as much stress resiliency. And we talk about something, and I don't want to get too sciencey here, we talk about something called the sympathetic drive or sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight, Let's release some cortisol, some stress hormone, nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest. Let's be relaxed, heal the body, get great deep sleep nervous system. And fasting pushes you right over to that sympathetic drive, right over to that fight or flight. I'm really stressed. Shut things down and help me evade this danger. And what I know from my certification courses is that when the fight or flight system is activated, the stress system, the reproductive system is deactivated, right? And that's where your estrogen is coming from, the things that relax you, the things that let you adapt. So doing fasted training isn't the best way. We know from research that women do better in a fed state. I learned this myself through the MedFit certification for menopause health and fitness coach. I learned it again through Dr. 𝗸𝗶 Cimm's menopause 2.0 coursework. So we want to look at timing for our nutrients. This may be a big difference for a lot of you women than what you've done before, because you might have been the hard charging black cup of coffee workout person, right? Now you need to be the fueling before my exercise person and after. Excuse me. You want to book in your training with nutrition. So you need a little fuel before. My voice is not awake yet. And you need some fuel after. And what we're looking at is, I don't mean you need to go to IHOP before you train at 4:30 in the morning, get a Rudy Tooty fresh and fruity, although they are delicious. What I mean is, we need to look to give some fuel so that the hypothalamus, thyroid, feel protected going into the workout, because exercise is stress. Women experience most of their stress typically throughout the course of the day. And that stress response puts you in that fight or flight position where it's famine, war, issues, and it doesn't set the body up to change or adapt from the workout. What are you talking before the workout, man? I'm talking 15 grams of protein. Not a full meal. I've got a brilliant client who buys sort of pre-made workout shakes. You know, the kind you can get at a convenience store, like a Core 26 or pre-bottled workout shakes, kind of milk-based. And she just pours about a third of that into her coffee. Fits the bill, right? Got a little protein going into the workout. Hypothalamus feels protected. Thyroid's like, we cool, right? No need to F up our system here. We're good to go. Not too much stress. You do your workout, your hard charging workout, and after your workout, you have another meal, and you're looking for like 30, maybe even 40 grams of protein. And again, I hear the collective clutching of pearls, right? Because some of you work out and you don't eat till hours after. All right, I think I got it. Some of you don't eat till hours after, and that's problematic, because when you're coming out of your workout, you're in a state of stress again. Workouts are stress. It's eustress, EUSTRESS, versus distress, DISTRESS, but it's stress nonetheless. And your body doesn't want to adapt when it's under stress continually. It wants to adapt when you stress it, and then you fuel it, and then you allow it to recover. That's how the magic happens, right? So after your workout, your body's ready to adapt to what you've done. After your workout, your body's primed to take in the nutrients, the calories, the protein, take it all in and change itself for whatever you conditioned it for. And in the absence of fueling it after, right, you find yourself in what we call a catabolic state. That's a breakdown state. An anabolic state is a build-up state. A catabolic state is a breakdown state. And what happens all too often is women are compromising their lean mass, compromising the muscle, maybe compromising the bone after that workout by continuing to do these underfueled workouts, and then continue to be underfueled after the workout, thinking that somehow the lack of eating, the lack of calories is going to be beneficial. It's not. It's 1,000% detrimental to your body actually adapting to the things that you've actually done during the workout. And this is why we see a lot of I'm doing what I used to do, I just can't seem to get results from my workout. As a matter of fact, not only am I not getting results, I feel as if, and this is not my concern for you, but if it's your concern for you, that's fine. Just the weight gain, right? I don't care about how much body fat is on your body. I care personally about what your health habits are. But I also don't live in your body. And I don't have the right to tell you what you should feel about living in your body. That's just stupid, quite frankly. You get to choose how you want to be in your body. But if one of the ways that you want to be in your body through midlife is to monitor and moderate your own body fat, which is your choice, what you'll see is probably the opposite of that. And a lot of you are out there sort of connecting the dots now to what I'm saying, because you undereat in the morning, maybe coffee. You feel like fascia training is the way to go. You go beat your body down. It's in a stress state for hours after that, and you don't give it very much fuel after. And what happens is you start to see an increase in body fat over time. It just sort of starts to scale up, despite the fact that you're working out hard. So the second concept I want you to look at is having 15 grams of protein. If you're going into a strength training workout, plenty. If you're going into sort of like a hard charging cardiovascular conditioning workout early in the morning, I highly suggest 15 grams of protein and about 30 grams of carbohydrate. And again, these aren't even technically meals. I mean, you're talking the 15 grams of protein, you're talking what, 100 calories maybe, all together with your coffee if that's what you're going to do. Maybe 200 calories if you add some carbohydrates to what you're doing. And then on the other side, I want to see you in the 30, even 40 grams of protein range on the other side of your workout, and probably double that in carbohydrates, because you need carbohydrates for your muscles to recover. For you to get the adaptation that you fought so hard for in your workout, you've got to fuel for the adaptation. That workout, you're drawing out a blueprint for your renovated house. After you draw the blueprint, you got to go to the local hardware store and get the materials to actually build it. You can't just keep drawing blueprints, look at the empty lot and say, I just can't. Yeah, because you got no materials to build a house with. So we've got to think practically at this point about what our stress response is due to midlife, due to lack of estrogen, our fueling requirement might be, and how important it is to get that protein. So that's sort of the second thing that we look at. And the third thing in terms of getting great results from sort of your midlife nutrition is, this is a suggestion and an experiment for you. But you may want to taper off during the evening, right? A couple of hours before bed, you may not want to consume heavy amounts of food. And that's subjective, right? I know that if you're properly fueled during the course of the day, you're going to be less likely to feel like you need to have a snack after dinner every single night. If you find yourself raiding that pantry between 9 o'clock and 11, first, go to sleep, right? I'm not telling you to ignore your hunger signaling. That's not what I'm saying. Quite the opposite. I'm telling you to pay great attention to your hunger signaling throughout the day, right? Because what will happen, here's the classic client that enrolls with me. Coffee drinker in the morning, straight to exercise, no fuel. Getting prepared for work after that for 2 or 3 hours. Maybe a light lunch, maybe skipping through lunch or working through lunch. Get home and there's so many pressures, so many things that need to be done, attending to your family, et cetera, et cetera. Then eat a meal, then get ravenous after the meal, and then murder the pantry, right? And this cycle continues. And all I want you to do is be more mindful about your fueling, yes, through protein, but your general fueling throughout the day, so that you don't find yourself in what we call a low energy availability state at night, because you're asking your body and your brain stuff costs calories too. It's not free, right? So you're asking your body and your brain to do so many things throughout the course of the day, and you just don't put anything in the gas tank, right? And at night, you end up wanting to eat everything in the pantry because you're hungry, sis. You've been hungry all day. You've been ignoring it. So those 3 things are the 3 things that I suggest to get great results from your midlife nutrition. I'm going to pay the bills one more time because up until Sunday of this week, I'm taking on up to 5 women in midlife who want to build their healthiest body, get off the diet roller coaster, feel at home in their body again, and do that without counting calories, without counting macronutrients. Nothing wrong with those methods. It's just not what we do. Like Black Panther said in Avengers, we don't do that here. Want to get off that roller coaster and get back to being yourself, or learning to work with the new version of yourself. If that sounds like a program that interests you, my 15-week signature program for midlife women called Women's Liberation Movement is open until Sunday. DM me the word live. And if you DM me, because about 5 people DM me yesterday, if you DM me, you got to know that I'm going to DM you back and ask you some questions. It's the only way that can help you. That's neither here nor there. I'll be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern with another live broadcast. Have a great day. Do your Thursday, your Throwback Thursday post. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for rocking with me, Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, or X. LinkedIn, thank you for being here. Hope you got some valuable out of this presentation, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern, all right? Have a good day.